Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? I just looked at the clock before I came out here and it's exactly 20 till 5. Oh, no. 20 till 6. It's exactly 20 till 6. I was like, it can't be that early because Alex is already home. Alex got home about 20 minutes ago and I'm uploading videos. I'm uploading a drama video and I finally did the huge PO unboxing. So, and all my neighbors were walking down the street. It's really nice today in Indiana. It's not as nice as it was yesterday. Yesterday was like in the lower 70s. I think today it reached like the upper 50s, maybe 60, but I don't think so. But it's still really nice. I have sweat shorts on and this t-shirt, and I don't need a jacket or a hoodie yet, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to. And I have had a very busy 24 hours. So should we talk about it? Let's get into it. Okay, before I do, I want to light this candle that I have over here. Light this Bonfire King's Candle. This is one of those candles that I got on Amazon and I didn't love, but I like it for out here. It's funny because, oh, just went out. I had it lit last night, and when I kept on coming out here, I was like, it smells good. It smells good out here, but it smells like cologne. It doesn't smell like a bonfire at all. So yeah, I have had a very busy 24 hours since I have sat down here. Last night, when I got done vlogging, got my vlog and everything done, and then when I got all that up and everything like that and was uploading, I put my walking shoes on and then I went and walked. And I walked for, I think it was like 48 minutes last night. And I listened to music for like the first 10 or 15 minutes, which is kind of like how I always get started. And then I listened to The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden, which is the book that I was listening to. So I say was because I finished it last night. Last night, when I started listening to it, I still had like 3 hours and 8 minutes or something. Was that the night before? Maybe like 2 hours and 44 minutes or something. I think I had 2 hours and 44 minutes because, yeah, when I got back, I was like right under 2 hours that I had left to listen to. And so I got back and ate a little bit of dinner, and then Alex was upstairs and I was like doing some stuff around the house, cleaning around the kitchen and stuff like that because I knew I was going to do this PO unboxing today, so I was trying to get everything like organized in the kitchen. And then in the corner of the kitchen where I like plug in my like, you know, phone and keep the camera and charge the batteries and stuff like that. I have 2 places in the kitchen that I charge batteries, but in that corner is where like I keep like the books that I'm reading and everything like that. Well, it was kind of a mess, and so I cleaned out that whole corner last night, and then I was just like getting rid of stuff in the kitchen that we don't use anymore. I was organizing the basket that you see sometimes in the back of my videos that's on the white chair is where I keep stuff that I'm gonna like review, or stuff that I've gotten from Amazon that I haven't shown in a video yet that I don't want to take upstairs until I've shown a video. Like today I got these t-shirts from that, I think it's called Hero Clark, is the brand, Hiro Clark or Hero Clark, it's H-I-R-O. And I opened it, Alex came home, he's like, you're not going to open it? And I was like, well, I want to open it like an unboxing. So I opened it and it was like inside bags, like these like linen bag, not linen bags, but these drawstring bags. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to open it. He's like, you're going to open it and see the t-shirts? Like, oh, no, I want to do it on video. So I put those over there with these t-shirts that I bought on Amazon. And this was today that I was doing this, but I had gotten all these Amazon packages today because I ordered all these books. Last night I was going to order some other books. I was going to order some I have to say in my head The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, or I can't think of her name, Shirley Jackson books. But the one that I wanted to get, which like has a real scary cover to it, it's called something like We've Been Here All Along, or We've All Lived Here All Along, or something like that. I already have that. I don't really know where it's at. I think it's in, so there's only 2 other places that it could be. It could either be in the cabinet underneath the TV, which that's one of my goals this week is to clean underneath there, or the cabinet underneath our sink in like the little bar area in the living room because I have books underneath there, but I don't think it's there. Last night I went through and like the books that I'm currently reading, I have like Witch's Sister under there because I want to start that, and I have the Raymond Carver book, and then I had some other books that was like the Flannery O'Connor one and whatever. And so I cleaned off that corner and whatever last night. Today, I got all of my books in the mail from Amazon. I think I'm getting like 1 or 2 more tomorrow. So I'm going to wait until I get the other books to do my book haul on on my BookTube channel. But I got most of the books today. I got like 8 books in the mail today, and I'm really excited about it. So last night, when I got done with all that, Alex at that point, it was like 9:30, and he was like going to bed. And I was like, are you really going to bed this early? And he was like, yeah, I'm like really, really tired. And I was like, okay. So he went to bed. I laid there in bed for a little while. I think it was like an hour or something like that. And then I was like, I can't sleep. So I got up, and I was looking for this book because it's interesting when I'm like talking about, like I was talking about these books last night online, that I don't know why all of a sudden, like I'm still, obviously I still love, you know, listening to audiobooks, but, and I was really excited because today came out the pick for March for Reese's Book Club, which I will read at some point. But the book that came out, I want to get into some thrillers in March. Like I'm ready to get to some thrillers, and I'm really on like the thriller, you know, wagon right now. And this summer I'll probably listen to more cozy mysteries, or maybe, you know, this month I will too. But I think that, so the book that came out today is called like Anita something proves them all wrong or something. It's about like a woman that works in like an art museum, or she's going to college, and there's this woman that died that was an artist, and it's kind of like their stories, like she died like years ago, like in the 80s, and it's kind of like her and these stories, and like she starts dating this guy that's like real wealthy and whatever. It looks good. It looks interesting. It just doesn't look like what I want to read right now. There was actually a book on Reese's Book Club, like I think it was like a year or two ago, and it was called Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I think it's by Gillian McAllister, and I never read it, and I heard great things about it. And so I'm either going to listen to that, I'm going to start that tonight, or I'm going to start The Firm by John Grisham. I'm kind of thinking, I really want to read Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I may listen to that and then just get right into The Firm, because The Firm is the book for Peter's Book Club this month, and also The Exchange, which is the sequel that John Grisham just came out with, which was interesting because John Grisham was in this true crime documentary that I was watching last night. So anyway, so I got up, I cleaned my face in the bathroom, was doing cleaning up the bathroom and stuff like that. I feel like I can waste like 30 or 45 minutes just like cleaning up areas. So I was thinking about these. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I still obviously love listening to audiobooks, but now I'm like in this phase where I'm like wanting to read a lot of like graphic novels and physical copy books as well. And I've never been somebody that loves short stories, but I'm kind of like getting back into short stories a little bit. When I was in college, because we read a lot of short stories, you know, in my literature classes and stuff like that, Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. I think I read that in high school, actually. Do you guys remember they made a Lifetime movie out of that with that Dan, what's his name? Dan, God, I thought he was so hot at the time with the long hair. He doesn't have long hair anymore. He's my age. Dan, wait, what's his last name? Long dark hair, starts with a C. Is this Dan Cortez? Is that his name? Can't be his name. Is that his name? But anyway, he was in the Lifetime made for TV movie called The Lottery. And, which actually, if I remember correctly, wasn't too horrible. Maybe it was really bad and I'm remembering it wrong. But anyway, this is a PO unboxing. This woman sent me this stuff that smells like Creative Aventus, that cologne that I wear, and which I'm almost out of. I've got to get some more, but I'm trying to like put it off as long as I can because it's so expensive. And now my hands and everything smell like Creative Aventus. But yeah, so I was wanting to buy some of these Jill McCorkle books because I told you guys this yesterday. She was like this author that I loved when I was like in college and things like that, this Southern writer. I love Southern literature of any kind. And so last night I was like, I'm reading the Raymond Carver book, and the one that's called What We Talk About When We Talk About Love. I don't think everybody would love those short stories. I love them because they're very like mundane. Like literally, like a short story would be about, I saw this guy, I was walking down the street and I saw this guy sitting on his patio talking to a camera, and it would be like 3 pages about that. I don't know why I love them, but I do. They're very simple stories. And so anyway, I was like, I know I have, well, I talked about yesterday the cheerleader, and I thought it was called July 5th, but it's July 7th by Jill McCorkle. And then she had a book of short stories called Crash Diet. Well, I had ordered her newest book of short stories. It actually came today in the mail from Amazon. It just came out like in January, I think. And I was like, where is that book Crash Diet. And so I looked on Amazon last night because I was like, I don't even know if I have these books in the house anymore. So I was going to order The Cheerleader July 7th and Crash Diet. Well, they're not even, you can't even buy them online anymore. Well, I'm sure you can probably thrift books or somewhere, but they didn't have them on Amazon. They have them, they show them, but they're like, they say like out of print and stuff like that. And I was like, where? Those have to be in the basement somewhere. So here's the deal, okay, I know like I don't talk about the basement a lot because I really don't want to talk about it until it's done. It's kind of where I'm at with it, but I have continued to work on it, like 2 or 3 boxes at a time, 2 or 3 boxes at a time. So let me tell you about the book situation in the basement, okay? I have so many books in the basement between myself and the books I brought here when I moved in here 15 years ago, and my mother's books that she had on the bookshelves in here and the bookshelves in the she had bookshelves in the basement as well. And a lot of them I've already donated and got rid of them, and a lot of them were just like falling to pieces and just like threw out because they were just, I mean, it was like college books, you know, that she had like stuff like that. I actually last night I kept a copy of her Huckleberry Finn. Hey,
hi.
How are you?
Good.
Good. I kept her copy of Huckleberry Finn that she had from college because she has it all like underlined and stuff like that. And so it's like, it's so funny, that girl, every time she walks by here, she's like 13 or 14. She walks by here and you can tell it's like her older sister who's like 18 or 19. And they walk by here with their dog. And every time she walks by here, she's like, she just looks at me the whole time. And I think like, she must have figured out, like, because I have the camera sitting up here that I'm like filming a video or something like that. Because she always like looks right. She's real sweet. But anyway, because like I'll be sitting out here and I don't have the camera started yet, and like they seem to walk by when the camera's not started, but she always says hi. She's real sweet. So last night I was looking on Amazon. I was sitting, oh, that was what I did. So I got up and I was cleaning the bathroom and everything like that. And then I was like, I'm gonna come outside and I'm gonna read. And I made a cup of coffee and I came out here and I started reading. I read well, I did my prayers and meditations, my gratitude list and stuff because I wanted to like make sure I didn't forget to do that. So I did that, and then I read a book I read a short story in the Raymond Carvin book, and then I was like, I'm gonna get online and I want to order this Jill McCorkle, these short story books. And I also want to buy The Cheerleader, Queen of October, I think is what it's called, and July 7th. And the books are so beautiful, like the copies that I have are so beautiful. And so when I got online, I saw the copy that there's like 2 different versions of it. There's like just like a paper. The one I have is paperback, but they're like, each one of them looks the same, like they're made by they're like very unique. I'll show them to you guys on video. So anyway, because I'm gonna show some things I found. I'll do that on a Peter Does Stuff video. So anyway, so I was like, those books have to be in the basement. So here's the situation with the books in the basement. Okay, I have so many books in the basement. That was the first thing that I started going through like years ago when I started doing the basement. Was I started going through like my mom's books first and got all those. And so that's why a lot of those are already donated. And then I just kind of kept a couple that my mom had so many books, like she had it sectioned into like Irish literature and this literature and whatever. And there were a lot of like books like Catherine, what's her name? Is it Catherine Porter? I don't know, like books that I would like, you know, James Joyce. I'm not going to sit out here and read a James Joyce book. Now watch like 2 months from now, I'll be like, I really want to read a James Joyce book. But like I got a lot, and a lot of them were like books from college that she had underlined and stuff like that. So I just got like, I donated a lot of those books and got rid of them, a lot of that kind of stuff. So those are, most of my mom's books are gone. Well, then I have all of my books. Well, I've been an avid reader since I was high school. So every move that I've ever made, I've literally brought every book with me. I remember the scene in To Kill a Mockingbird, I was going to say, Terms of Endearment, when Deborah Winger moves in with her husband, and she says, can you imagine being in love with somebody that doesn't love books or whatever because they have so many books? Like, I feel like I have brought all of my books with me every place I've gone. In fact, I had like 4 boxes of books in my dad's basement that had been down there since high school. And they were just like paperbacks. They were just like stupid paperbacks and stuff. And they were books that I hadn't read. And they were all like, maybe not in high school, maybe like when I was in early college. They were before I went to treatment. And so like probably, oh God, it was before I was on YouTube. So probably 10 years ago, my stepmom was like, do you want these books in the basement? And I was like, no. She's like, do you even want to look through them? I was like, no, just donate them. I don't want them. Because she was like donating a bunch of stuff. And I was like, just get rid of them. Just donate them. I don't want them. Because I didn't even want to look at them. Because if I look at them, then I'll be like, oh, well, maybe I'll read this book. You know, this David Baldacci book that came out 20 years ago, you know? So I've gone through everything. Well, I had cleaned most of this area in the basement with this huge desk down the basement, right? With this like desk behind it. And I cleaned everything off. Well, when I started, I found like, oh God, this was, I don't know, like a year ago, I found like 10 more boxes of books that were like pushed in the back. and then books that I bought for BookTube and things like that. Well, I started going through these boxes, and I would like have like a donate pile and a keep pile. And what ended up happening was I had nowhere to put these keep piles, and our basement's not finished, and I was afraid that at some point it might flood, because when my mom lived here it flooded. So I wanted all the books like up off of it, and I had like ran out of plastic boxes at that point. So I put all of these books up on top of the desk. It was literally like a heaping pile like this on top of this desk. I mean, there were probably 200 books on there. Paperbacks, hardbacks, everything, right? And then I probably at this point have... Well, now, after last night... So I spent like 2 hours in the basement last night. I finished listening to the Housemaid's Secret last night while I was doing it. I listened to it the whole time. I had no intent. I went down there to go find that Crash Diet book. I left my phone in the kitchen and had my AirPods in. And I came up like as the book was ending. But my coffee had gotten cold out here and everything. And so I was listening to the book while I was like looking on Amazon through these books, and so like I was like, I'm gonna go see if I have that Crash Diet book in the basement. I went down to the basement, came up 2 hours later, and I went through. There is not a book in the basement that is not like I'm keeping it or it's being donated. And so I went through all the books. I'm keeping all my graphic novels. I'm not throwing away any graphic novels, because a lot of the graphic novels are like printed once and they're like done. And so I have all the graphic novels, but the ones that I have in the basement is probably like 10 or 15 graphic novels. And then I kept like books that I want to read, like cult read kind of books, like the I Never Promised You a Rose Garden and Auntie Mame, the novel. I kept a bunch of books like that. I have like probably another 10 like that. And then I kept a bunch of pulp fiction novels, like James Patterson ones, because I always, every once in a while, I'm like, I just want to feel like sitting out here reading a James Patterson novel, even though they're so bad, you know, but they're quick reads. So I had like tons of paperbacks, like David Baldacci, Dean Koontz. I feel like I had every Dean Koontz paperback in the world. And I was just like, box them up. You're not going to read them. Box them up. Box them up. And then like every children's book that I had that meant something to me from when I was a kid. So I have like this bookshelf down in the basement that was like a standalone bookshelf that my mom had. It's like an antique. So I kept the children's books in there. I kept books that meant something to me. I put Christmas books in there. And so I found like that book that I talk about, I found this last night, the book that when I was like going into being like a freshman or sophomore in high school, and we took a trip to Beaver Island, and my mom's friend's daughter and I listened to Is Elvis Alive in the basement. I found that book last night because there was a book and there was a tape that went along with it, and so we both listened to it like in the Walkman in the car, and we thought we were like trying to discover where Elvis was, because we thought of course he'd be in Michigan because we were in Michigan. And I found that book last night. I found my high school copy of Pretty in Pink, the book, the movie to book transcription. And so I kept that. I kept some other stuff. But anyway, I found the Jill McCork books last night. I found Crash Diet, which is the book of short stories. Beautiful copy. And perfect condition. And I found the other 3 that I wanted. And so those I put in the pile. So I literally have one corner of that desk now that is books that I'm keeping, that I'm wanting to either read this summer, or that like I'm going to bring up here and put on the bookshelves. Every other book in the basement is either like the children's books that mean something to me and I'm not going to throw away, that are up in that cabinet, that like, I mean, it's literally less than like, it's probably like 10 books. Every other book is boxed up in the basement. That desk is completely clean. I was like, I kept on like looking over at it last night. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe how clean it is. Every other box or book is boxed up and ready to go and be donated. I probably now, no lie, have between 20 and 30 boxes of books in the basement ready to go. I couldn't believe I got it done. And I got the kitchen completely done. And then today, after I did the P.O. unboxing, I like completely cleaned down the kitchen and got everything done. Alex walked in, he was like, oh my God, he's like, this kitchen is like, you have everything in order, like what's going on? Because I'd had all the boxes up there in the corner was like a mess because I couldn't have other stuff other places, so I put it in the corner, right? So everything is so clean. So I got that done last night, finished the Freed McFadden book, and then The Housemaid's Secret. It was good. For a long time, I thought I liked it better than the first one, but I ended up giving I gave the first one 5 stars, and I gave this one 4 stars. I liked it, but I didn't like it as it was good. It was still a good thriller. I didn't see the ending coming. She always throws these shocking endings out there at the very end that you can't really figure out. And so it's a good thriller. It was a fantastic thriller. I did not like it as well as the first one, but it's completely different than the first one. So, but I liked it. And so I didn't want to start another audiobook last night because I didn't know what Reese's book was going to be today. And if her book was something that I wanted to read, then I was going to buy it and download it tonight and start listening to it. But so then I made a cup of coffee. Well, had this cup of coffee out here, but like warmed it up and stuff. And then I started reading the first short story. By that point, it was late. And so, because I've been cleaning and doing all this kind of stuff. And I started reading the first short story. I forgot how much I love Jill McCorkle. Oh my God, she's one of my favorite authors of life. And the short story collection that I was reading, I just got the new one that came out in January today. But I'm going to finish this one first. It's called Crash Diet. And the first one, it's the first short story in the collection is called Crash Diet. It's about this woman, and okay, so she must be like 35 because this woman she's talking to is like 5 years younger than her, and she's 30. So her husband, it starts off her husband leaves her for another woman, and that's like happening in the kitchen. But at the same time, she's like on this like diet that's kind of like Weight Watchers, but not Weight Watchers. They call themselves warriors, and it's very like funny, haha, but like sad at the same time. Like, she just goes and checks into this hotel just because she wants to stay in this motel for like a week. And I'm sitting here reading it, and I had the candle lit, had my coffee, and I was reading the Raymond Carver short story. I just was like so happy last night. I was just like so at peace. I just was like, oh my God, I just feel so at peace. I had taken this wonderful walk. The walks just make my body feel so mellow and calm. And I am like right now like 8 books behind my reading goal. But what's so interesting is, so that was the 11th book that I read this year. So I read 11 books this year. But last year I only read a total of 28. So even though I'm like 8 books behind my goal, which I think I'll catch up on, because I'm reading like 2 short story collections, that Fangirl manga. I think that's the only graphic novel I've listed. I think I took the other ones off there because I wasn't like actively reading them. And then I'm going to start listening to an audiobook tonight. So I'll catch up, but I was like looking at these books and I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to read this book. I forgot about this book. So I found, this book and that book and whatever. And so, yeah. And then, so the only books that I have left that I have to go through, well, the bookshelf in here, I have to go through the entire bookshelf in there. But that will be this summer. I'm not rushing to we're getting the basement done first. And so underneath the sink is where I have all these paperbacks. And I have like it's like really hard for me to like get rid of some books. Like somebody like, oh God, this was like 3 or 4 years ago, sent me like every Goosebumps novel, because at the time I was like watching the Goosebumps shows. And so they sent me like 60 Goosebumps books. I can't get rid of those. I'm just going to collect them. I actually found a lot of Hardy Boys books last night that I didn't know that I had. Like from way back in the day. And I have some books that I think are actually kind of might be worth something. Not the Hardy Boys books, but I don't remember reading the Hardy Boys books. I kept like some Encyclopedia Brown books that I read when I was like a kid and stuff like that. And the Ramona and Beezus books, I kept those from when I was a kid. But anyway, so I have underneath the sink, like in our bar area, like if you're sitting at the computer, it's like right there. Underneath there is like a bunch of paperbacks. But again, there are a lot of them that are underneath. It's like stuffed with paperbacks, just like stacks of them, like 20 high. And it's like David Baldacci, all this. So I need to go through those. I might do that tonight and get rid of all those, because that's where we're going to start storing candles, because we store them up and then I'll put them down there too. And then underneath the TV, I have a bunch of books too. The problem with that section is those are going to be a lot of books that I want to keep. And that's where Alex's games are going to go, is underneath there. So, and then once I clean that area out, I've got to get like the wax melts out of the kitchen so I can put my coffee underneath there. I might do that and underneath the sink tonight, because those are kind of quick jobs. The books underneath the sink is literally just going to be like, the problem is I don't want to just like put them back on the table downstairs in the basement. So I've got to have like an organizational set of how I want to do it. I have a couple boxes set aside for donating, but still like I have like empty boxes that I can donate stuff. So I'm gonna bring that up there. I might do that as soon as I get done vlogging tonight. But I want to walk tonight while it's nice. So then I got done with all that, and was cleaning the kitchen and doing this, and I looked at the clock and it was like 2:58 or something like that. I was like, you need to finish this true crime documentary. And so after that, I sat down and I watched, actually last night, at some point, I don't know this one was, after my walk and before, it was when Alex went upstairs to lay down at first, and it was when I made something to eat last night, I watched The Bachelor. So apparently I had 2 episodes to catch up on, and then the third one came out today because it was on last night, so on Hulu it comes out today. So I watched the first 2 weeks ago, The Bachelor. It's so bad, you guys. Like, it is... I mean, it's not bad. Like, the women are real nice, and the guy's real nice, and all that kind of stuff, but it's just, is The Bachelorette better? Is it different? Like, I loved Bachelor in Paradise. I loved The Golden Bachelor. Like, this is, like, too much. Like, last night, the one I watched last night was, like, from 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna do a whole video about it on my Peter reality channel, TV channel. But, like, they do these group dates. So if you don't know the whole idea behind, like, The Bachelor and Bachelorette, it's, like, every week they give, the one I watched last night, they had 2 one-on-one dates. But usually it's, like, every week, every episode is, like, one woman gets a one-on-one date with Joey, the Bachelor, right? And then they do a group date. And the group date's, like, play tennis or go here or go there. And it's, like... Joey, the Bachelor, with like 10 women, all fawning over him for his attention. And he's kissing one over here and then kissing another one over here. It's so bizarre. Like, the whole concept is so bizarre to me. But, like, when you watch it, you just kind of buy into it, right? But it's weird. Like, he's literally dating like 10 women at the same time. Like, truly. And so I'm watching it last night, and I don't know if this is something that happens in, like, every season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette, but, like, all these women are getting all bent out of shape about this group date. They're all of them they're like, he's giving attention to this girl, and I'm done with these group dates. I don't want any, because 2 of the women, they're in Canada at this point, and in Montreal, I think. And he's, like, you can tell it's affecting him, too. And, like... So 2 women get one-on-one dates. This Maria, that to this day, I still don't understand why he's with her, but anyway. And Kelsey T, who I love for him. And he has these one-on-one dates with him. And then this one girl who I could see him marrying. I mean, I physically thought they looked fantastic together. She was so sweet. Her name was Lexi. And she had, I believe... endometriosis or something. So as far as like having kids, which is something she really wanted, she's like has to like plan it out and has time schedule, all that kind of stuff for like fertility. And so she brought that to him and she's like, you know, what's your time plan for kids? And he was like, well, I want to have like a 2 to 3 year engagement, then get married, then like be married. I mean, but he's a lot younger than some of these women on there too, by like 7 to 10 years. And so she was like, well, I'm wanting to have kids a lot quicker than that. And so she was like, so we're not on the same time schedule. And so she left the show. And it made me really sad because, and you can tell, he's kind of like, a lot of these women are leaving the show because they're like, this isn't for me. And you can tell he's kind of getting, like, some of the women that I think he really liked are the ones that are leaving the show. And, but the group date, like, they're all talking about it, and they're like, yeah, like, I don't like this group date anymore, and these group dates are too hard, and I'm like, the group dates have always been weird. Like, one guy with, like, 10 women, and they're saying it. They're like, it's so weird to see him, like, kissing all over these other women, and this one girl, she says it's like a cult. It's like, he's, like, the leader, and we're all these girls following him. It's totally how it is. But you know that before you sign up for the show. You know that's what it's going to be. I mean, there's been 300 seasons of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette at this point, right? Like, you know they're going to go on group dates, and they're going to pick one-on-one. And what's so interesting is, like, when they read the names, if you watch The Bachelor or Bachelorette, you know what I'm talking about. They read the names of who's going to go on the group date. And so, like, let's say there's 12 women, and one's going to get a one-on-one date. Like, when they're reading the names for the group date, they're supposed to be real excited, right, that they get to go on a group date. But really what that means is they're not the one-on-one pick. And they want to be the one-on-one pick, right? So it's like Judy, and they'll go, Judy, and everybody will clap, like, Judy, aren't you excited? She's like... But really, she's pissed because she didn't get the one-on-one. It's so... The whole show is so weird. I don't even know why I watch it. But now I can't, like, stop watching it because I want to find out what happens at the end, because the whole season they fed out that he gets left at the altar kind of thing. So I'm like, well, I want to find out what happens to poor Joey, and does he find his lady? And he's like, well, what if I find somebody and their feelings aren't reciprocated for me? And I'm like, why did we ever come up with this concept that we thought that we were going to randomly pick 20 people, and that in that group of 20 people was the person that you were supposed to be with for the rest of your life? Like, that whole concept to begin with is just weird, right? But we all believe in this love. And they're all falling in love with Joey. They all love Joey, right? Well, Joey's sweet, and he's a nice guy, and he's super good looking, you know, and he's the Bachelor. They all want to win. It's ridiculous to me. But what is funny watching the show is, like, now having seen Bachelor in Paradise, is like, because some of these people just go into show after show after show. They're like on Katie's season and Charity's season, and so they've done like all the, like 3 seasons and Bachelor in Paradise. You can tell the people that are like made for like the nation versus finding their true love. Like this Jess girl and this Leia girl, like, I like Jess, but they both came across as so... The camera stopped. They both came across as so strong on the show, and I'm like, like this Leia especially, she was the one that got that she could take somebody's date card away from her, but from them, but they didn't. She didn't. And she ended up burning that card. And I really liked her at the beginning, and then I just kind of didn't like her because she got into all the drama and stuff. But she would be great for, like, Bachelor in Paradise and going on another season and stuff like that. Like, she's somebody that could be, like, a personality of, the Bachelor Nation. You can kind of tell, like, when you watch it, like, who should be Joey's pick and, like, who should go on. And then you also watch it and you wonder, well, who's going to be the Bachelorette out of this? Like, there's a couple already that I think would be, like, a good pick for a Bachelorette. The Lexi girl I thought would be fantastic. She's gorgeous. It's so sweet. And then this other Kelsey A, I think... I love her too. She would make a great Bachelorette if he doesn't pick her. There's a couple of them on there. I actually think Jess, because Jess is like so fun and she's very real, she would be a great one. I love this Daisy girl. She's a girl that has a cochlear implant. I love her, but I don't think he's going to end up picking her. The ones that he's picked that he's down to, I really like all of them. There's not like one girl that is left that I don't like. The Maria girl, the thing about her is, like, I do not see her for him, but she's somebody that would be my friend. Like, she's just, like, hilarious, and, like, she just is like, this is who I am, and take it or leave it, kind of, whatever, right? Like, I appreciate that about her, but he's not like that. She's kind of, like, hard-edged a little bit, so it's kind of interesting to me that he keeps on picking her a bit. But she's pretty and stuff, you know? And she got caught up in a lot of the drama and whatever, but this other girl wouldn't let it go. Anyway, so I watched that last night. But anyway, so I watched this documentary. I finished a documentary last night that it's called Till Murder Do Us Part, Soaring versus Haysom. That story, you guys, like, they literally just got out like 2 years ago. They served like 33 years in prison, and both of them got pardoned or got paroled. And then he went back to Germany and she went to Canada, and they're never allowed to come back to the United States again. That story is so crazy, and John Grisham gets involved in it because, you know, like, John Grisham did that documentary, The Innocent Man, and he's like part of, like, you know, proving people's innocence and stuff like that, but he's a part of it. It's interesting because they go in there and they talk about how, like, John Grisham in the state of Virginia, does he live in Virginia? I didn't know that. But he donates a lot of campaign money to Virginia Democrats. And at one point he says something like, I have favors that I can, like, ask for and whatever. And it gets very political. The documentary gets very, very political. Like, at one point, this Jen Soaring gets pardoned by the governor, like that's the last thing he does before he leaves office, and then the first thing that the new governor does is revokes the pardon. I mean, it's crazy, guys. It's very political, this whole thing that happened with these two people. But what's interesting is when you watch the very end of the documentary, I've already, you know, said enough, but when you get to the very end of the documentary, these two women that have covered it, that are like journalists for a long time, they basically break down and like, and like, you've watched now like 6 episodes. Is it 6 episodes or 4 episodes? I can't remember. It's really good though. And even me telling you what I told you, like, it will still, like, there's so many different, like, facets and surprises. Like, they basically, at the end of it, they break it down, and they're like, and this is what happened. And all, like, when you're listening to them, you're like, oh my God, they're so true, and that they're so right, and it's been right in front of our face the whole time, you know? It's really a good documentary. So I don't know what I'm going to watch tonight. Here's this family that always walks by me. Hey, how are you?
Good, you?
Good. There was 5 of them the other day, and then last night there was 4 of them, remember? And now there's 3 of them tonight. It looks like, by ages, if I had to guess, it looks like grandma, and then her son, and then grandson. But the grandson doesn't look like the son of the other son. So it looks like uncle. Like grandma, uncle, and grandson. Or something like that. But I could be wrong. The tripod fell while I was guessing the ages of these people. I do though. I sit out here. People are like, what do you sit out here? I'm just like, I sit out here and I'm like, my friend and I in college back in the day, we used to play this game called Instant History. And when people would walk by, we would like have to come up with like one of us would point to somebody, not point like there, but like be like, okay, this guy over here, right? And then you had to come up with like a history, like his name is such and such, and he's studying this, and you know he's got a girlfriend, and she does this. I mean, you have to come up with this instant history. I kind of still do that when people walk down the street. I mean, I'm naturally nosy like that. I'm just kind of like, what is this person doing? I've never seen. Well, I mean, with the people that I know in the neighborhood, because there's people that, you know, walk every single day. Like, even in the cold, some of the same people walk every single day. And then there's other people that, like, they only come out when it's warm. And then there's other people that, like, I've never seen before. And then there's people, this family right here that was walking, like, I think they're from the outside neighborhood. That's, like, where I walk, that they're from, like, around there. And, but they, like, walk, like, every single day. There's usually, like, it's usually, I don't think it's 5 of them usually. I think it's, is it 5 of them? I think it's 4 of them usually. The tall guy, that's the guy that's like, well, he's probably not my age. He's probably, like, 40. Maybe they're brothers. Maybe I'm, like, aging the other guy down because he's short. The grandson. Maybe he's, like, closer to 30. Maybe it's their mom and the 2 sons. They, like, walk together, like, every, like, night. And then there's, like, a woman that walks, too, I think. And the 5th guy, the 5th person is this guy that, for some reason, I think they're kind of built the same. Who I call the grandson. But maybe it's really just, like, brothers and their mom or something. I don't know. But, like, they walk every night. My mom and I used to walk all the time. This one whole summer when I was like trying to get into shape and lose weight and stuff, my mom and I, we walked like every night, like 3 or 4 miles. My mom walked her entire life. I mean, up until she got really, really sick. I was like, is that the family up there? No, I have no idea who that person is. She, like, in the winter would walk in the mall. I've talked about that a lot, but she loved to walk. My mom, she wasn't like a speed walker or anything, but she loved to walk, and she had this yellow Walkman, and, you know, she had tapes that I had made her years before that she would listen to on her Walkman and stuff like that. I think about that with my mom, like, listening to audiobooks. I don't know that she would have liked to listen to audiobooks, but I can tell you that my mom would have, what is on my foot down here? Oh, something. My mom would have loved, on my leg, she would have loved listening to podcasts. She would have loved listening to podcasts. She would have just been confused. My mom would have been so confused by, like, the smartphone. Oh my God, she would have been so confused by it. She was confused by her cell phone. Period, end of story. No, she truly was. She used to call it her cellular device. And it was, like, plugged in across the room. And if anybody went to go unplug it, she says, "John, unplug it." She's like, "It needs to be charged in case I need to call 911. That was when she was sick, and there were people there 24 hours a day. She never hardly even used it. I don't know why, I was just, like, thinking in my head. I was like, I don't even remember ever seeing my mom use that phone. My mom had a landline when she passed away. She was, like, one of the last people that had a landline. And I remember, like, at that time that she passed away, which was in 2008, she, God, is it gonna be 16 years this year that since she's been gone? It's so weird. When she, 16 years since I've worked in treatment. We're already past that, 16 years plus since I left working in treatment. 16 years since my mom passed away. This is Alex and I's 16th year together. So weird. I mean, that is a really long time. I mean, especially when neither one of us ever thought that we were going to make it past a few couple dates, you know, and here we are still 16 years together. My husband's going to be 40 this year. feel like in the last couple years time has like really slowed down a little bit though. You hear little birds and stuff outside. What was I gonna say though? Oh, at the time that my mom passed away, I would say like only 30% of people left still had landlines. Does anybody out there, do any of you still have landlines? And I remember when my mom passed away, I kept my mom's landline open. I had like a phone in the kitchen, and I kept it, and Alex would be like, why do you keep that phone around? And I had like I didn't even have the voicemail. I just had like the answering machine, because my mom would use the answering machine forever, right? And because she would have me, I remember my mom would have me record her messages on her voicemail because she didn't want people to think that she was a single woman living here alone. So I would record her messages for her and be like, we can't come to the phone right now. And she's like, in case anybody calls, like a stranger, then they'll know that is my neighbor. And then she's like, then they'll know that it's not a single woman. They'll think that you live here too. And I was like, okay, Mom. So anyway, but I remember I kept that landline open for like a year, because I was like, well, what if one of my mom's friends calls and they don't know that she's passed away, or somebody in my mom's life, and they don't know that she's passed away, you know, like, and they're trying to get a hold of her, and like all of a sudden the phone, you know, has been like shut down or is disconnected. They wouldn't know, right? And I kept that phone open for a year. Not one person ever called. That's so weird. That was such a hard thing for me to do too. That was like such a hard thing for me to do, to get rid of that landline. I don't know why I'm even thinking this, but it's like for years, like people have thrown up this website in my face that's supposedly my website that has like all of my expertise and whatever, which is a phishing website. Not a phishing like fishing, but it's like phishing that, like, you know, they bring information from other places. And it was used in a video years ago. I'm fine with that person today. The video's been taken down and whatever, and we're on good terms and whatever, but it was used as an example in a video. But to this day, people still swear by that video. And what's so funny is when you go to that website, I went at the time and tried to there's like no place to contact. Like there's like a contact them, but they don't, like, you can't even get to these people. I was like, you need to take down my information, because you're like, have my name on there, but nothing else is accurate and whatever. And people are like, oh, this is Peter's accurate information, and it says this and it says that. Well, this is where you can't prove anything to anybody. This is why when I did my video yesterday, I was like, I'm done. Like, there's no reason to even prove it to people. People still swear by this website, and they're like, look at what it says on this website, and Peter swears that he's an expert in this, an expert in that, blah, 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 whatever. I had nothing to do with that website. I never put that information on that website. There's like probably 30 websites out there like that. Never put my information on that website. Didn't ask for it to be out there. They got their information from the white pages. What's so interesting about that, though, that nobody ever wants to check or admit to, maybe they have and they haven't checked, is when I went to that website and looked at that phone number, I was like, I've never heard of that phone number in my entire life. I know what my phone number is. My phone number is, you know, it's the same as it's been for 30 or, you know, years or whatever. I was like, I've never seen that number before in my entire life. That said it was my office phone number. I was like, I don't know whose office number that is, but that's not my office number. You can pick it up and call it tomorrow. I don't know who you'll get, but you won't get me. I'm like, you all want to swear by this website so much it has some fakety phone. It's not even my phone number. Even if somebody was if they were trying to contact me, they couldn't get me through that phone number. You know, and all this kind of stuff. Wrong address, wrong phone number. Oh, it must be him. Everything on there must be fine. Let's look at that. You know, phone number, address, all this kind of stuff is that's fake. That's but everything else is real. And Peter wanted this out. It's like, give me a break. I'm sure people believe what they want to believe, you know. I always wonder, like, with YouTubers that have, like, not just YouTubers, but just, like, influencers, I hate that word, that have those phone numbers where it's, like, you can call them in and you can, like, you know, say hi to them or whatever. Do people, like, leave, like, what, do they get messages on those? I don't think I've ever talked to anybody about that, never asked them. A lot of people have those. You can just get that number, right? You know, where you can just, like, call in and whatever and say hi or whatever. Like, podcasts and stuff, too, don't they have those? Do people actually call those and give them tips and stuff like that? I thought about doing it a couple years ago for drama, but I was like, nah, just get people just call me and be like, F you. That'd be kind of fun for Tanya and I to drive around drinking fountain pops, just listening to those messages. I think that'd be kind of funny. Should I get me one of those messages? I don't need that. I don't need to complicate my life anymore. I'm trying to get rid of stuff, not get stuff. You know what I mean? I'm so proud of myself for that, how the basement looks. Oh my God, I have like, what is going on? I must have got like a mosquito bite or something. I have like blood on my hands, you guys. Oh, my leg is bleeding. And it itches, so it must be like a mosquito bite or something. How am I getting a mosquito bite in March? I have like blood on my hands. Okay, well, I'm gonna get off here because this is gross, first of all, and I need to wash my hands. I don't even want to show you. I was just like rubbing my leg. Do you ever do that? I do it with my other leg where you're just like this because you're like itching. I'm like scratching it and I'm like itching. And I look down at my hand. My hand's like red. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like I need to put a Band-Aid on it or something. It must be like a mosquito bite or something. It's still kind of like, it's not like bleeding profusely, but I need to wash my hands. Okay, so I'm gonna get off here. I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Tuesday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. I love you. And quick outro because I gotta go clean this up. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you.